Creepy. Creepy Culture.
Hello, and welcome to Creepy Culture, CM Life's scariest podcast, where we discuss horror movies, video games, music, and more. I'm your host, Stephanie Chipman.
And I'm your host, Tyler Clark. And this is the finale episode of Creepy Culture, the final one of this season. And we're just going to discuss this podcast, what it's meant, and just horror in a general, encompassing final discussion.
Yeah, kind of more or less a summary of what we've made and kind of the experience that we went through and that you guys went through with us. I guess starting off with, I don't know, what was your favorite part?
I would say my favorite part of just making this podcast was just seeing that we could do it, I guess. Because there have been so many times where you talk with someone, oh, we should make a podcast. But we actually did. It's a thing now that is out there in the world, and we made cool art with it. We made a lot of cool, fun episodes that, I learned stuff that I never would have, in the books one, I think I learned probably the most.
That one really threw me, and it was an episode I don't think we initially planned to make up front. You know, we had a list of things that we wanted to talk about, but we left literary horror so out of it, and bringing it back in, we were missing so much. It's not just books like Pet Sematary, right, that have a film recreation, have two films, in fact, about it, and that you feel like you don't need to read the book. But it's not like that. There are so many other books that haven't gotten films, or like House of Leaves, that really you can't make into a film.
Yeah, I would have never known about House of Leaves had we not made that episode. So I think in that sense, this was a great learning experience, and just making podcasts.
I will say this has been my creepiest semester at CMU. Learning new things about, not only crime that happens here, but, getting more involved in the horror movies I used to love, watching new horror movies, playing new horror games, which was a blast, getting back into Outlast. Discovering Ice Nine Kills was a big one for me. I love that band. If you see me on campus and I have my headphones in, I'm probably listening to them. So, don't interrupt me.
Yeah, the A24 episode, we took a look at newer horror movies that we might not have seen. Very artsy ones like The Lighthouse and things like that, where if I didn't have this podcast sort of making me watch different movies, I probably would have never seen that. But I do really enjoy that movie in a weird way. It is a very strange movie, but it's sort of just filming widen my horizons of what I can watch, and enjoy and understand.
I hope we did that for you guys too, because that was what we really wanted to do, is not just introduce ourselves to new content and introduce each other, because we do tend to enjoy different aspects of horror and share that with each other, but we wanted to be able to share that with you guys. And hopefully you guys can share that with us, what you guys want or love to get out of horror. Are you more into the video games, or do you prefer music or movies? I know movies is the big one, but horror music is underrated 100%.
And I think some of the classics that we think of as classic, not a lot of modern audiences have seen. I don't know how many college kids are watching old black and white Frankenstein with Boris Karloff and loving it, but I think they really should.
Yeah, and especially to really fall in love with horror, not just modern horror as we know it now, but the foundation that built to that brought us here.
Yeah, like everyone's seen The Conjuring, but what inspired that? What made that filmmaker want to make a horror movie?
Right, and it's back to the true crime thing again, but no, I mean, and I feel like we have learned a lot in general over this semester about, older horror, not just horror movies, but inspiration behind horror. And I mean, discovering horror books in general has been really fun for me. I got an Audible account to listen to Goosebumps books because, dang nabbit, they are hard to find.
Yeah,
only
I
had
wish I
one.
kept them. I wish I kept them.
I only kept one, and it was a choose your own scare that I've read a million times. So I wanted to try to like get back into that. And so now I have an Audible account, and I'm listening to Pet Sematary.
It's a great book.
It's very a surprising book because I didn't realize that Stephen King wrote it about his own family, and that it wasn't initially going to be published. He decided not to publish it up front because so much of it was too close to what actually happened in his real life. Because apparently he actually did move into a house. He was like an artist and resident at a local college, and he moved into a house there for a year with his family and his wife and his 2 young kids. And there really was a pet cemetery. There really was a busy road, and his daughter's cat really did pass away. And that was actually his daughter's cat's gravestone is like mentioned multiple times in the book, which is really interesting. And yeah, his son did almost run onto the street, and he made the book as like a what if. Creepy, huh?
Yeah. Stories like that, it's so wild.
I would have never known, and I don't think that I was interested in reading horror books. I think I was more interested in like visual media, but it's definitely changed the way I feel about horror, and I don't know. I love it even more now.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. This podcast was just sort of a way to, sort of like a gateway for people who maybe don't know a lot about horror and want to dip their toes in, or even for people that do like horror and just want to hear about it more.
Yeah, and we want you to be able to feel like you have, that there is someone here at CMU like you. And I didn't feel that way when I first started here at CMU. I really didn't feel like anybody had the same interests as me, but I was wrong. And I just want to give people the opportunity to branch out and feel like there are people like you, because we're both CMU students. We both go here, and we both love horror.
Yeah, you'll find us at Whiteman.
Yeah, all the weirdos are at Whiteman.
Hey,
No, it's not true.
that's where we hang out.
All the cool people are at Whiteman. No, just the artsy people, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like a lot of artsy people gravitate towards horror. I don't know what it is specifically, but there is that fascination with it.
I agree. It's funny because the people that I mention the podcast around at Whiteman do tend to get excited, and it's always the people with like darker hair or that always wear hats, and you can kind of tell that they like horror.
If they're wearing all black in the summer, it's a good sign.
Oh yeah, or you can see it in their art too.
Yes.
And that they like horror, and I made some friends in pottery that way, and saw some amazing art. Better artists than I am, I will say that, with pottery. I did make some really cool horror pottery this semester.
You're gonna have to show me.
I have to show you. I made you a cup. I brought it today. I should have given it to you when we were out there.
Oh my gosh, I need to see the cup.
Yeah. You'll like it. I told Noah it's like a little shot glass, a little sake glass. I shouldn't say shot glass. It's too big for a shot glass. It's a sake glass.
Ah. Dignified.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because, this kind of it'll make sense when I say it, but I also love Japanese culture. And you showed me that artist that is very like Japanese inspired. Not Japanese inspired, but
yeah, Junji Ito.
Yeah. And just kind of a way that like two of my interests have like combined into one, and I really enjoyed that as well. And just kind of, horror isn't the only thing that I'm interested in, but I love that we can kind of find those bridges where horror meets other things that we're interested in.
Yeah, like Junji Ito did with the Misfits. He did some clothing for them, which sort of. I already knew about him, but that made me like really deep dive into his work. And if we're talking about horror literature, we didn't even touch on it, but there are like manga, Japanese sort of literature that is very horrific because it's like a comic book type of deal,
Yeah,
which I mean maybe we'll touch on in the future because there are a lot of horror comics. But yeah, and some of that gets made into like anime. I think one of his most famous ones, that shirt I always wore with like the pink faces on it.
I love that one.
That one, they're making anime of what that is from. So that's gonna be really cool to see that. And even if you're not into anime, I think it's just cool. It's cool art.
Definitely.
You can
And,
pause it anywhere, and it's cool.
I was thinking about when you were saying that, I was like, I was thinking about Castlevania, the Netflix show, and it's so very like anime Japanese style, but so creepy. And
Yeah.
the story was really good, but there's so many creepy characters. There's so many bloody, scary, gory moments, and obviously it's about vampires, so it's kind of scary, but just kind of a culture combo that I really enjoy because I do really, really love Japanese culture
Yeah.
and media, obviously. I'm not like the biggest anime fan or anything like that. I'm not out there watching Black Butler on my free time.
I feel like anime gets sort of a bad rap sometimes because like it's all lumped together and there are like weird ones that are not fantastic or ones that just look awful. But then, I don't know, Studio Ghibli movies, I love those. The animation is fantastic. Spirited Away, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I mean, I was making a face because I say Studio Ghibli. That's
Oh, do
that's the
you?
only reason I made that face. But
I was like, what do you have against Studio Ghibli?
uh, my fiance and I are actually collecting those films right now, so I think it's funny that you brought those up. Oh,
Well, it's like like people lump all anime and like Ghibli and all of those stuff in like one pile.
doesn't no.
But that's like comparing Disney to Beavis and Butthead.
It is
it's-
kind of.
They're so very different, but the style is very similar. So I can see how that happens. But there are some like horrific ones that are like really good horror stories or incredibly artsy like animation ones that are fantastic. And then there's like weird rom-coms that you would never watch and would probably need to go to church afterwards.
Oh, I understand. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I do love that there's like those moments where things can be kind of creepy but kind of culturally different, and I think maybe that's something we should talk about next season.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's horror also gets a bad rap sometimes because you have movies that push the boundary, like, I don't know, like Saw. I know you love those movies, but at that point, horror was like, okay, well, everything is gore now. But that's not exactly true. A lot of movies, people like to point at Texas Chainsaw Massacre and be like, oh, that was gory and awful. There is not that much blood in that movie.
No.
It is so tame. Like, not tame, it's an awful thing, but that movie is not gory in the slightest.
I always when people bring up gore and stuff and taboo movies, I always bring up Human Centipede.
God.
I know you hate
Please
when
don't.
I talk about it. I it came out when I was in middle school, so it's kind of an older film at this point, but
Yeah, you're so old.
I'm an ancient. I know, I was just talking about how old I am. So ancient and old. But it came out when I was in middle school, and the way people talked about it was like, oh, it's the grossest. Oh my God, it's so gory. When I was in high school, I actually watched it, and I was really disappointed because it wasn't gory. It's not.
I just think it's not a great movie.
It's not. But I'm just saying that like it's not taboo in the same way as Saw is, and I think that people do tend to like blow those things out of proportion because yes, it's gross. Human Centipede's gross. We get it, but you don't actually see anything. Not really, in my eyes. Like it's not as gory as a Saw movie. Is it grosser than a Saw movie? Probably, but it's not really that gory. I just think that sometimes horror movies, especially taboo ones like that, tend to get like I don't know, a dramatic reaction that's not necessarily accurate.
Yeah, I mean, you have that, and then you have Evil Dead, where there are blood geysers coming out of the wall and covering everything. And I mean, it's comedic how much blood there is in that movie. And that one, no one bats an eye.
Well, it's kind of funny too, and
Yeah.
not necessarily the first movie. It's a weird series
Yes.
of movies.
The first one exists, and it's very much not a comedy. It's not funny.
It's a very typical horror film for the time.
Yeah, Sam
I would
Raimi,
say.
that was like his first film, I think, and it was like a student film. He went to Michigan State.
Oh,
He
cool.
didn't graduate, I don't think, because he made his movie and then everyone loved it. But no, yeah, everyone was from Michigan, I think. I think they filmed it in Michigan too. But he made that, then they loved it. So for the second movie, Evil Dead 2, he pretty much remade the first one, and then the next half is completely new. Like half of the movie is a remake of the first one. Just better, different. It's more comedic and higher quality of effects.
When I was a kid, my dad owned Army of Darkness, and that was the first introduction I had to the series. I was so confused when I saw the first film. I was very like, this can't be part of the same series, right? Nope, but it's all connected. It's all there.
Sort of. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah, and there's an Ice Nine Kills song about that movie. Yeah, there is, for sure.
any chance you get, you'll bring them up.
Oh, yeah, there's an Ice Nine Kills song about that.
You and Molly, my neighbor, Ice Nine Kills fanatics.
It's the podcast got me into it. You know,
It's
that
true.
music episode from then on, I got into it. It makes you love film. It just makes me like the films more.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the music's heavy, and I just like heavy music. I make it sound so like, oh yeah, I just like heavy music. I'm a good person.
Good Christian girl. I listen to
Yeah.
metal.
I only listen to metal. I love when you talk to somebody and they're like, I know this is totally off topic and I keep doing that, but
It's fine.
when they're like, oh, you're like, hey, what kind of music do you like? And they're like, oh, I like all types of music besides screamo, and you're like,
All types of music is code for like, yeah, I like pop. Ah, man. You lied to me.
you're a liar.
I played Black Sabbath and you said, what is this? It's like, oh, come on.
And you had that judgy tone, and I was like, ugh.
I've met so many people where it's like, yep, I like pop, rap, and country. It's like,
Oh,
who are you?
I can do pop, but and I'm okay with some rap. I can listen to it, but
Yeah.
country really it grates me a little bit.
Well, that as your trinity of music options, that's more horrific than every movie I've seen,
That's like this for me.
pretty much.
You know, it's like the Edible of So Below thing. That's the below.
I would rather go through that entire movie than have that be my only music options.
Do you live through the movie? Which you want to be the car guy, the guy that gets sucked into the car?
Aw, man. I hope not. I don't know if I would survive a horror movie. I cannot tell. Because by like Randy's rules and Scream, I think I would survive.
They're not hard and fast rules, though.
No.
And if you don't see it coming, it's different when you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a horror movie.
Because
I need
Randy
to-"
dies.
Well, yeah.
But I would be Randy.
Well, I also Randy is someone that I also identify myself with. 'cause
Exactly. That's our type of character.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Scream, you don't know, but Randy is the bomb.
He's the one that sets out the rules of horror movies, and
He's the best. He's the best.
he basically just he tells them how it is.
Yeah, if you say I'll be right back, you won't be right back.
I think that's our outro. I hate the outro.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I should have done another take, but I never did.
Spoiler alert: we shot the intro at the beginning of the semester, so after that we've never heard it.
Yeah, the outro
Heard it
too
once.
was like halfway through the semester. I was very much come in, do it. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
There might be some revamping.
Maybe, yeah, for next season. Let us know what you guys think we should do. But yeah, it's kind of a fun experience.
This was great. I enjoyed this. This was probably one of the highlights of the semester.
I think so.
It was my first semester of college and your last.
My last semester.
God, you're old. No,
I am old. I'm a 5th year senior, so I am a little bit ancient. I know. How old are you, Tyler?
18.
I'm 24.
God, you are... Grandma, are you all right?
Oh, come on, kiddo. Let's go record this podcast.
Oh, man, she's going senile. I'm going to need a new
know.
co-host.
I'll be the next naked grandma on the next 824
Oh, no. Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, man.
That strikes fear.
I think my favorite part about being part of the podcast was becoming friends with you, Tyler.
Yes. It's
Not to
about the
be
friends we made along the way.
Exactly. No, we just, Tyler and I met here at CM Life, and we just had a lot in common.
I think you had the Green Day Skulls shirt on.
Yeah, my
and
other Green
I
Day
probably
shirt.
had some sort of metal band shirt on. Probably Iron Maiden or something. Wearing all black with a jacket on.
Yeah.
And it was yep, we're friends. It's all right.
Once we started talking about horror movies, we would just have ongoing conversations, kind of like we're having now. But
Well, yeah, we have half the podcast before we even start recording.
Yeah.
We sit there and we talk for an hour, and then it's oh,
are we
need
gonna
to record. Okay.
I think what we mean by all this, the past 20 minutes talking to you guys is if you want to do a podcast or you want to do something fun, just make it happen.
Just do creative stuff. It's so fun. It is. Once you actually get up and you do it, because it's so easy to talk about and never actually do it. But actually getting up and starting something, it gets 10 times easier, and it is so much fun.
I mean, it's difficult. It is. There was a lot of struggle and, doing the podcast art. I mean, that's me and Tyler. Tyler and I do our own podcast art.
The social media.
Yep. I write all the social media captions. We write our own script. We pretty much do everything. We do have an editor who edits our recordings. Mike. Shout out to Mike. Who was also on the podcast.
He was guest on Video Game Podcast.
But it's a small team. I mean, we pretty much do everything ourselves, and I'm just telling you that and being transparent about that, so that you can feel like you can do something like that.
Yeah,
Microphones really don't cost that much, and you can record on whatever you want.
And horror was just our go-to thing. That was an easy podcast because we're both passionate about it. And we both know a good bit about horror in general.
Not to say it, we did do a lot of research
Yes.
for the podcast.
I will say the first podcast definitely had the most research and the least amount of just conversational talking, which we sort of found a happy medium, although this one is not a research one. It's more of just reminiscing, I guess.
It's our long way of saying goodbye to you guys for the semester. And reflecting on what we started. And we hope we made a difference to you guys. And because, like I said, anybody can make a podcast, but you got to truly do it. You got to commit to it, and you got to love it. Because Tyler and I have no expectations for this podcast. We just wanted to make people like us feel less alone.
Yeah, and I mean, putting up all of the posters everywhere, I was a fiend. I put it on the staircase.
Yeah,
the janitor will never forgive me.
Yeah, Tyler put up all the posters, so
I ran
credit
around.
to Tyler.
Hey, I designed that one.
Yeah, you designed it.
I'm not just the poster guy, all right? Listen, I did some stuff. But no, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and I did have some professors talk to me about the podcast, which was cool. Like, hey, I saw you put that up. That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm one of our professors just listened to one of our episodes, which was pretty interesting. We'll see what he thinks, I guess.
Hi, Professor Stairs.
If he's listening, I don't know if he'll listen to this episode.
Nah, it was one and done. He listened to the
true crime one.
the true crime one. He's like, oh, they like murderers. Okay.
This is weird. I'm gonna leave.
Have a good summer.
No, just if you guys are serious about making a podcast and you want us to send you microphone recommendations or let you know what programs we use to edit it, contact us. Shoot us an email. Send us a message through our Instagram. We'll let you know. We'll help you out. Honestly, I mean, if you are really passionate about something, a podcast isn't a bad way to get other people to hear your thoughts and share your ideas.
Yeah, and we would love to hear you tell us like what your favorite episode was. So for the future, we can base it on that. Like, did you like the more structured first episode all about the classic horror movies, or did you enjoy more of the conversational tone of this one and maybe the A24 one?
Did you like us with a guest or without a guest?
Yeah, I mean, we can do all of those different things, but on our Instagram, on this latest post that we're going to do when this episode airs, please comment. Tell us what you liked. Did you enjoy the series? Should we continue? All of that. Because criticism helps so much.
Constructive criticism.
I hated it. You guys suck.
My brain already tells me those things. You don't need to write them in the comments. We're good.
Not that anyone has. Although, I mean, we mostly just get the promote it here bots.
Yeah. But,
I mean, we've had like a decent amount of likes and follows, which surprised the heck out of me. I didn't think we'd get that much.
You're so funny. Tyler, on our podcast, I didn't think we would get any attention for our podcast.
I didn't. I thought we would be yelling at one dude over the airwaves and he'd be like, okay, that was pretty neat.
We really appreciate all of you guys that have listened to all of our episodes, or even just this one right now. Just about sharing ideas, and if you haven't heard any of the other ones, go back and check them out. My personal favorite was maybe
sort of our final kill of the
maybe
series.
Final kill of this series. That's not really last.
It's not last on the episode, but just the final kill, I guess.
Final kill. Favorite episode was to film or to record or to research
just
for?
all of the above. Just favorite one in general.
Favorite one in general. I really, really enjoyed the music one. I know because of Ice Nine Kills mostly. The research was so much fun, and just like learning about your music type versus mine was really fun to like see the differences. And I don't know. You're an interesting person, Tyler.
Oh, thank you.
I know it was a little unorganized and a little long, but I also learned a lot from it.
Yes, we missed a lot of good bands.
We did.
But there's so many of them. That was still when we were apologizing every episode.
About not getting to everybody.
If we don't get to everyone, please just tell us in the comments. Which, yes, but there was no way we were going to get to every band that is influenced by horror, because there are millions of them. It is insane.
Well, if we cover them all, what are we going to have to do for our next season?
I know.
What are we going to have to talk about?
We could do specifically metal or horror punk or metalcore.
So if you guys have an idea for next semester episode, let us know.
So we always love to spitball, and then we forget to write them down. And then we're like, okay, all right, what's the next episode?
Don't know yet.
Which we did have a plan, and what was the original plan? It was like 5 episodes?
6?
6?
I think was the initial one, and I think after the first episode was so successful, they let us pretty much have as many as we wanted.
True, and we're on 8 now. Or
9.
9.
This is number 9.
This is number 9.
I think.
There are 8 out. This is 9.
We sound so wishy-washy when we talk about it, but the fact is that we're also still students, And I know I have multiple jobs, and I work as a student. So this is my fun thing that I love to do, and I do love doing research for it. But it does tend to take a little bit of my time, and so it's work. It is, but it's the fun kind of work.
Yeah. I'm definitely having like the freshman, oh, college is hard. Like, this isn't high school. What the heck? I have to turn things in?
And I'm over here like crying all the time because I'm about to graduate. Like, so sad.
You get to leave. Come on.
Yeah. But still horror all the way. I'm wearing black to graduate. Yeah, that's right. Y'all can wear white. I'll wear black. No big deal.
Safety pins all over your hat.
No.
What?
I don't know what I'm going to put on my cap yet. I haven't decided.
Just the Kreepy Kulture logo.
I do want something creepy on it because it's been a theme this year.
This summer I'm going to experiment with, I plan to do like a lot of crafts and stuff. I want to make some Kreepy Kulture like pins.
I can't wait to see your scrapbook.
My scrapbook? You're the scrapbooker.
Your crochet
My
pieces.
crochets. Oh, no. Not that kind of crafts, but
Tyler's horror-themed quilts.
I would make a killing on Etsy. I would absolutely sell those.
For real.
Leatherface quilts.
Did you tell me what your favorite episode was?
Don't think I did. That one is hard. I don't know. I liked all of them. I would say I did like the icons one a lot. I feel like that's where we really found our footing and understood or just got more comfortable with talking.
And I'm not going to lie. I could not forget the moment that Professor Wanless, like, he correctly guessed who the top icon was going to be. And
I thought you tipped him off.
I didn't say anything because we filmed them we recorded them at different times. So we actually had recorded the like main part of the episode already, and then we did the interview with him later. And he just knew. I didn't even give him any options. He just knew
that it was Hellraiser, right? Pinhead. Yeah. My bad.
And to be honest, thinking back now, I should have said it. It should have been in there. What's scarier than it? He's literally the scariest thing in your head. He's literally your worst nightmares.
That is true. I guess, next annual Kreepy Kulture induction to the Hall of Fame, maybe it will have to make an appearance.
And yes, there is an Ice Nine Kills song about that.
Of course there is. Why else would you bring it up?
I've been thinking about Pennywise a lot, and just about how he might be as scary as Freddy. In my eyes.
That's interesting, because Freddy's like the dream demon, but yeah, it can just transform into any of your fears, right?
Yeah.
Scarecrow from Batman.
And it only comes after children, so I don't know.
Less scary, I guess, in the sense that I don't have to worry about it, probably.
Yeah, but I don't know. Something to consider.
Oh, did we even talk about The Thing?
You're just barely not a child anyway, Tyler.
Aw, man.
What did you say?
Did we talk about The Thing?
We did not talk about The Thing. That is scary.
Because that
scared the bejesus out of me when I was younger.
Yeah. I mean, that it could be anyone. We didn't talk about any, like, shapeshifters, I don't think.
Body snatchers.
Yeah.
I mean, The Thing is the ultimate body snatcher. It's not a body snatcher, but...
Or Mars Attacks aliens. Because those are just...
Attacks.
Dude, Mars coming at you? That's terrifying.
Is that
the
a
whole
horror
world.
movie?
I think the line's a little wavy, but I would say yes. That scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Can you do like a Mars Attacks alien impression?
I cannot. And I won't try. Because you will use that against me for the end of time.
Oh, it's fine.
I'd clip it. That'll be the new outro.
Oh God, no.
No.
I loved that movie as a kid, and it is kind of scary. There's times
people
where it
just
does
get
feel.
blown up.
Yeah, there's times that, like when they switch the dog and the ladies' heads. How is that not terrifying?
That was Tim Burton, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was just one of those movies that I've been watching consistently throughout my life. I'm sure we all have them where, when you're younger or when you're like me and you're 24 and when you're a kid, you only have like certain VHSs and
It was
you just
Tim
watch
Burton.
those. Is it really?
Yep, and Danny Elfman doing the music.
I should have known, Tyler.
You should have. That is a weird. You don't think of Tim Burton when you think of Mars Attacks, I feel like, or vice versa.
No, but I get it. I kind of understand now because there is a comedic side to it.
It's very stylized, which he does very well.
It's very appealing, though, the way that everything's kind of sandwiched together, and there's this very, like, comedic points with, like, Jack Black is, like, the mean older brother in the military, and...
Well, it does what Beetlejuice does, I think, in a way, where it presents horrific situations and, like, horrific elements, but makes them funny and approachable.
Yeah.
Like the sandworm would be terrifying, but it's like cartoony and looks cool.
Yeah. I have a plush of it at home.
The sandworm tattoo all the way up the arm.
Nah.
What?
No, we were just talking about horror tattoos, and maybe that'll be another episode. Yeah, I want to get like a guillotine on my arm. Something like that.
Just gonna do the guillotine elbow drop.
I love my current tattoo, but it's not very spooky. And you need tattoos. You've just been able to get a tattoo. Oh. Tyler can finally get a tattoo.
Oh,
He
Grandma,
can't drink, though.
Come on.
He can't drink. So
I cannot drink.
or smoke weed, so
Hey,
sorry, Tyler.
I'm just not that cool.
Aw, little baby Tyler. So I did want to ask you, what episode or what subject do you wish we would have done for this season?
I think it's comics. I feel like that's slept on quite a bit, and there are a lot of good ones that could fill a podcast.
I agree.
Whether it be like manga, which honestly could be its own thing, and then American comics. Because there are comics of like Predator, Alien, Jason, I think, has his own.
And are we going to talk about The Walking Dead?
Well, of course, The Walking Dead is like one of the biggest comic book series of all time.
And he means big literally. They're thick.
Yes, those are really big books.
They're fatties.
But that is like a perfect example of a comic making its way to like mainstream, which we've seen with the MCU, with Marvel and all that. But The Walking Dead was very cool because no one, when he first pitched it, no one wanted to give him a comic so he could write. So he had to sort of lie to the producers and told them that it was aliens, that it was zombies, but it was caused by aliens, and that there would be like little hidden bits throughout the whole thing. And then one of the producers, like after the first few issues came out and it was a giant hit, was like, "Hey, this is really great. Where are the aliens?" He was just like, "Oh, I didn't do that. I was just lying."
It's too late now. You can't
Too
go
late
back.
now. I mean, it was already a hit, so that they were sleeping on zombies, and then he pretty much was one of the founders of the new zombie era of just The Walking Dead, all of the new stuff. There's, 2 different Walking Dead shows now? Walking Dead's been going on for far too long.
I'm not a big zombie fan.
Blasphemy.
I am. I know we talked about this last week, too. About... I really like 28 Days Later.
Yes.
You know, stuff like that. I find it a little dry, but it's also probably my generation too. We just got a lot of zombie stuff. I'm a little
That's true.
bored, but I'll never get bored of a good werewolf movie. Yes, that's what I wish we had talked about. Werewolf movies specifically.
Specifically werewolves. That is such like a niche.
It is very nichey, but it's my favorite form of horror. Unique horror. Unique, but I love werewolves. I wish... The only reason I say this is because I don't feel like there's very many people who got it right. So, and not just in film, but in general. There's just, I feel like, let's do some good werewolf content.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, they're American Werewolf in London, but I can't think of like a really standout werewolf movie that I enjoy.
Dog Soldiers. You need to see that one.
I will.
It's a
It's on my
British one.
list.
Yeah. British film. There's some funny parts to it, but it's mostly pretty gruesome. The werewolf itself is really good.
I want to see a new Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
I really do. We saw, I don't know if you've seen it, there was a new Invisible Man
I haven't.
that came out like years ago. But it's like, it's a departure from the original in the way that he's invisible because of a suit. It's like a suit that has like cameras on the outside and it projects. It has like little screens on it and it projects like what's through him, so it makes him invisible.
Weird.
Which is like a different take on it. He's not a mad scientist in a lab mixing potions, but he's also like insane. The guy is crazy and he's stalking his ex. So it's also got like some real, actual horrific stuff in there. But like, I want some of that. Some of that like weird type stuff. Where's my fish man at?
Where's my fish man?
Where's Gilman?
Isn't The Invisible Man a book?
I think it was a book.
Okay.
Most of those were books, then movies, like Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff.
I kind of want to read the Invisible Man book now.
I mean, I love that old movie. It is fantastic.
After I finish Pet Sematary. Got a lot of books to read.
And now you have Audible.
Yes. Stuck with
Sponsored
Audible.
by.
I was like, do I want to cancel it? I was literally one day from canceling it, and I accidentally got the next credit. And I was like, well.
At that point, you keep it. Come on.
And I'm sure that some of you who actually have Audible are like, why did you waste a credit on Goosebumps? It's quite. You can finish the whole book, listen to the whole book in 2 hours. It's extremely short, whereas like Pet Sematary is like 40 some hours. Same credit. Same credit.
Maybe a little bit of a waste on that one. Maybe I would have bought that one, but
If I could. I guess
well, I mean, like buy it
Amazon.
on Audible.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Probably would have been cheaper. I didn't think about that.
Use the credit on the really expensive book and then buy Goosebumps. Maybe it's fine. The financial decisions. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about horror.
Yeah. It's all good. But I think we're getting pretty close to the end here. Final thoughts. Just remember that there are some of us spooky characters out there that love. We're not scary people, but
Creepy little guys.
creepy little critters. No, there are people out there that enjoy horror, that enjoy alternative forms of media, and that we're not such strange people. We just enjoy strange things, and
Strange and peculiar.
we have a pretty cool culture, and we have a pretty cool like group of people that enjoy these things too. And I don't know. I think when I see someone cool, I'm like, oh yeah, I think this person probably likes horror stuff too. I think they're wearing their Goosebumps shirt today.
Yeah. And just thank you for taking a ride on the Kreepy Kulture train and going down the weird rabbit hole with us.
Yeah, thanks for riding the horror coaster.
That was a
Rejected name.
rejected name for the podcast, Horror Coaster.
I stand by it. It would be a great name.
Maybe that'll be the name of the roller coaster episode. Who knows? It's a different type of horror.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
But yeah, just let us know if you have any ideas for next season. Let us know what your favorite episode was. And there's probably a nice Nine Kills song for that.
Yes. And thank you so much for joining us and listening to all these episodes, or even if you just listen to one. Thank you so much. It means the world to us. We hope you join us for season 2.
Yeah. Until next time.
And don't say you'll be right back, because this is a horror movie, baby, and you know you won't be back. Come on.
I'll be right back. Ha 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 ha.